Yeah, you're on episode 26 of the Off the Ball League of Ireland podcast with myself, Jamie Moore, and we're delighted to welcome now into studio the former Bray Wanderers caretaker manager on a couple of occasions, Graham Kelly, who released a very good statement on Tuesday of this week to inform us that he would no longer be involved with the club. And of course they've appointed a new manager whose name is Gary Cronin, who we're going to be joined by in just a few minutes as well. Graham, very welcome to the studio. Thanks for coming in. How are you?
Thanks, Jamie. I'm good. Good, thanks.
Graham, just put the words onto your statement for me. You no longer work for Bray. How and when did you find out, and what are your feelings on it?
I'm disappointed. I really enjoyed working there while I was there for the past 4 years, you know. I found out on Monday after the under-17s semi-final. I was up watching the game and then I sat down with Niall, had a chat, and he informed me that there was a new manager coming in who would be appointed on the Tuesday, and he'd be bringing his own staff. So he thanked me for everything I'd done and wished me well.
Yeah, we spoke to Niall O'Driscoll on the podcast last week, met him at his insurance company, O'Neill O'Driscoll, and had a really good chat. And I did ask him about the role of you as caretaker manager, and he did say that you were in situ at the moment. He was assessing where things were, and that if he was going to make a change, you'd be the first person to be told. And he did tell you. How did that conversation go, and were you surprised?
Yeah, I was a bit surprised because I felt I've done a decent enough job, you know, in difficult circumstances. I've been quite loyal to the club, you know, when other people have, you know, maybe said it's easier to walk away, and I stuck by it, you know, and I've really enjoyed working with the players. But look, I had a very good conversation with Niall. You know, he was very complimentary on what I've done there, but he just said that he felt it was better for a change with a new manager coming in. So that it is what it is. That's football, isn't it? You know, I wished him well and off we went.
Yeah, there's been kind of a split reaction on social media to the news, because clearly the fans are happy to have someone like Gary in his first job and his pro licence as the manager, but others have also said, including me, that you've taken the caretaker job on a couple of occasions when probably nobody else would have taken it, and also with your previous involvement with St Joseph's Boys, that some role would have been found for you, but that hasn't happened. No,
look, it hasn't, and as I say, that's football, you know, and that's the decision that Niall has made, so, you know, I respect that. Am I disappointed? Yeah, of course I am. You know, I enjoyed being a part of Bray Wanderers, but look, we move on. I wish them well. I wish Gary well in his new role. I wish him every success, you know, and hopefully he can manage to keep them up.
Yeah, of course, and I should say as well, I did tweet on Monday night that I thought that Paul Doolan was going to be the new Bray manager. That was wrong. So, yeah, who's going to sack my sources? Probably me. And I also said that I thought Will Clark was going to be Gary Cronin's assistant. We're going to ask him that in just a second as well, because I know that the chairman, Niall O'Driscoll, did tweet me to tell me that I was wrong on that fact. So we'll ask Gary in just a moment. Graham, you said in your statement that you have managed the club through some challenging times this season. Tell me about them.
Yeah, I suppose first of all when Dave Mackey resigned, obviously we hadn't won a game up to then, you know, so the next matches coming after that were Dundalk and Shamrock Rovers, so you're thinking to yourself, you know, when you're asked to go in as caretaker, yeah, it's a big challenge, but we went in and you know, they were two memorable matches. In the first one against Dundalk, a really, really close game, and some very complimentary words from Stephen Kenny after the game, and then obviously on Monday night going in and beating Shamrock Rovers for the first win of the season, you know, that was fantastic, and that's a memory that will stay with me, you know.
Yeah, and you know, across the time with the 7 weeks of unpaid wages, and I know you were at the club last season, you know, in a coaching capacity when the North Korean statements came out and the crowds had been low and the team was bottom of the table and so on and so forth. What were those times like with you trusted to be the man to try and drag the club through that on the football pitch?
Yeah, it's tough because you're trying to put a togetherness in the squad. Now, I have to say, in fairness to the players, and you know, they're a really great bunch of lads, and they've taken a lot of stick, and I don't think it's right, because, you know, they've, at the end of the day, they weren't paid for 7 weeks, so they had really tough times. Some of them paid their mortgages out of that, but the senior players, like I probably have to mention Conor Kenny, who was fantastic with me, you know, and when I did go in as caretaker for the second time, he came in as a coaching capacity as well, and gave me a dig out with that, you know, and other senior players like Hughie Douglas, John Sullivan. It's just brilliant people to have around the place, you know, and we got it together. We got a group of togetherness there, you know. It was tough. Obviously the Bows match was really tough, you know, having not trained in a couple of weeks, and I think that showed in that performance. And in fairness to the lads after that, they'd done extra sessions, like for the last two weeks we've done extra sessions in there, you know, so try and get a little bit of sharpness back up, and hopefully they can get a good cup run now.
Yeah, I know a number of young players have made the debut under you as well, which you mentioned in your statement, who we would have worked with in the underage teams in the club, and Bray do face Finn Harps in the FAI Cup this coming Friday at the Carlisle grounds. What a task awaits the new manager now, given the new ownership, financial stability hopefully, and, you know, trying to improve the club off the pitch around the community and stuff as well?
Yeah, I think, like, from Gary's point of view, obviously he can deal with the players, you know, so he has a group of players there. He can't add to it, unfortunately, you know, this season because of the transfer embargo. So, you know, he probably has 20 odd players, and 8 of them are the under 18s, but they are good lads, you know, and they'll give him everything, you know. That's one thing that he can be sure of. They'll give him everything, and hopefully that'll be enough to help him through. What's
your thoughts on their quest to stay up? They're 9 points behind still. You know, a number of defeats in a row now after, as you mentioned, a couple of really good wins. But the task of trying to stay up is very difficult for them.
It is difficult, you know, and we said it all along. If it's 6 points, you know, you're a little bit closer, especially with Limerick still to go to the Carlisle grounds as well. But look, as I say, you just don't know. You know, 2 wins and all of a sudden there's a bit of pressure back on Limerick, you know. But it'll be an interesting couple of weeks, I think.
Yeah, just tell me about the managers you worked under and what you learned, Graham, because you're a UEFA A licence holder, you're going to apply for the UEFA Pro licence. That application process is currently open, but you did say in your statement that you've worked with a number of really good managers. Tell me about who you worked with and what you learned from them.
Yeah, like if I started off, Trevor Crowley was the man that brought me into Bray Wanderers, you know, and a lot of respect for Trevor. I think he's one of the highest regarded coaches in the country, and rightly so. You know, really good bloke, really good at what he does. And then from there, it was actually Harry Kenny brought me up to the first team when he took over from Mick, and to work with himself and Liam O'Brien, like, it's just 2 fantastic people, you know. Harry's man management skills are second to none, you know, they're unbelievable when you see him interacting with players, and Liam on the coaching pitch is excellent. And then, like, this year, obviously Dave came in, asked me to stay a part of it, and then he brought in Jay McGuinness as well, you know. So again, working with the 2 of them, fantastic. Jay's experience and knowledge of the league was unbelievable, and then again Martin Russell coming in. So I've been very lucky, you know, the experience and the people there. Martin was fantastic with me when he was there and had an advisory role, and then when he went in as manager, keep me in there as well. So nothing but upper respect for all those people that give me this chance, you know.
Yeah, across those 4 years, those managers and your role with the 17s and the 19s and the first team, what sort of things would you say you learned about being a senior manager? Because as we mentioned, they were challenging times, but you did work with some really good managers. And of course, at the time when Harry Kenny was in charge with Liam O'Brien, the first half of that season, which was last season, I think at the halfway break, Bray were third, Europe was on the cards, and then of course, you know, some issues arose. Even though wages were paid, there was the statements and you know, some mad stuff from the club from that point of view. But that period particularly, you had a great squad and you were competing at the top of the league.
Yeah, unbelievable group of players there, you know, some really, really top players. And you're right, at one stage we were second in the league, you know, and then the statement came out. Unfortunately, that had a bit of a knock-on effect, and then people were told they weren't going to get their wages, and then a bit of a bad run, and you know yourself, the quality around you, teams will overtake you. But overall, working with Harry and Liam and that group of players last year is something that, you know, I'll fondly remember, because it was really good times, you know. So like, you go into Dundalk, you're beating Dundalk, you're beating Rovers twice, you're beating Derry City 3 times, you know, they're memorable occasions.
Yeah, so plans for the future, Graham, for you is to apply for the pro licence, as I mentioned, and if there's a part of the pro licence to do with managing in a crisis, you'll be the man actually giving the lectures, not sitting listening to them. Yeah,
it'd be interesting if that comes up in the pro licence, alright. But look, again, as I can say, Jamie, I've really enjoyed it. I've worked with great people, you know. It's been an unbelievable experience for me, and we move on, you know, and hopefully get on the pro licence and see what happens.
Yeah, and of course the good thing is, away from football, you do have a full-time job, so it's not as if you're, you know, relying on the money, and also you do have a real job to fill your day with. But if a football challenge does come up again, it's something that you're looking to do.
100%, yeah. Look, I'll take a couple of weeks out and spend some time with my wife and kids, you know, who have probably been the ones that have been punished most over the last couple of weeks, because it's quite stressful, and you're out 3 or 4 times a week at football alone, and then the other days you're on the phone and you're making phone calls and meeting people. So spend a bit of time with them, and then hopefully get back into it somewhere, you know.
Yeah, so we've spoken about the chances for Bray to catch Limerick. Limerick are now, of course, 5 behind Sligo, so you know, they're going to look to try and catch them. What's your assessment of the other 3 teams above Bray at the moment, just overall, with Limerick on 24 points, Sligo on 29, and Bohs are on 31? So you think Bohs are now out of it after their 2 great wins over Limerick and Sligo recently, but they'll be looking, you know, the other 2 looking at making sure they don't finish 9th.
Yeah, definitely. You know, if you take Limerick, their situation's quite similar to Bray, you know, and Tommy's done a fantastic job there, again with limited resources, and they've pulled out, you know, massive results, beating Waterford 2 weeks ago, like a huge result for Tommy. So they're obviously on the up. They're a bit of confidence, even though last week, obviously, you know, a bit of a backlash for them going out to Dalymount Park. I actually think Sligo are a fantastic side, you know. I think Gerard Little has a great style of football, and I watched them out in Dalymount Park recently, and like they were really, really good. I think young Lynch coming in is a good signing for them, gives them a bit extra up the top half of the field, and Mikey Drennan as well, obviously. And I actually think Sligo will be good, you know. My own opinion, I think it's going to be between Limerick and Bray, but that's just my opinion, you know.
Finally, Graham, Cork or Dundalk for the title. You've managed against both of them. Cork are currently top, 2 points ahead, but Dundalk have those 2 games in hand. Dundalk out of Europe, out of the EA Sports Cup. Cork, of course, in Europe this week, and that race hopefully will go right to the wire. But who's your money on?
It's a tough one. It really is. 2 fantastic sides, and quality all over the pitch. If I was putting a little sneaky bet, I think I'd probably go with Dundalk. Just on current form, they're a really, really good side. There's so much strength and depth, as do Cork. But they're 2 quality sides. Graham
Kelly, thanks so much for coming in. The best of luck, and we'll speak to you soon.
Thank you very much. Thank you.